Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be explaining all the concept of RLS related to Supabase and all, how we can manage our RLS policy inside Supabase, how we can create and how does RLS policy work. So in RLS, there is a concept of policies. Think of policies like a set of rules that something needs to be fulfilled, then only they will get something. So here something is the query, like if the query and the user satisfied the condition that we have in our policies, then we give him access, else we do not give him the access to the row. So I have a detailed video on RLS. Tap on the eye icon and watch that first. So let me give you an analogy. Think of RLS like a security guard of a college. Like security guard might have few rules, like the student should be in their uniform, they should be arriving before the time, and they should be having their ID cards. So these are all set of policies that a security guard need to follow to let the students enter the college premise. So the same way Postgres have a concept of RLS, which is a security guard for each row that checks the policies, and if the condition is satisfied, then it gives it access, else it won't give it access. So in Supabase, I have a project where I have a Postgres database. I have three tables: snippet, snippet tags, and tags. And currently, I do not have any RLS enabled in them. Let me show you the code that I have. So it is a basic certificate code where I'm just calling an API. It doesn't matter. You can even call the URL directly, like the API of Supabase. Here I'm just calling the Supabase client, that is JS client, and fetching everything from the snippets table, then just console logging the data and error. In the page.result, you'll see there is just the method is called, that is in JavaScript we just call a method of a class. Let me refresh. So the API is getting called and we get a response. In data array we have 103 snippets. Each snippet looks like this. Like, let me show you the table also. Currently I have RLS disabled. This is my table, which is basically few code snippets. So let me just turn on the RLS quickly. Here we have a button to turn the RLS on. We just turn the RLS, and now you will see there are 0 policies applied, but our RLS have been on. So if the RLS is on and there is no policies, then the guard will restrict anyone to enter. That is, let me show you. Let me refresh. So it will call the APIs and it won't give any result because our guard is sitting there, but he do not have any policies. He do not know which one to allow and which to not. So it just didn't allow anyone. So now let's try to enable the RLS policy. We will be using Supabase dashboard. We will click on enable RLS, then confirm, and let's create our first policy. We will give it a name. So let's say we name it select for everyone. Like, we will allow everyone to select. So now we will be adding our policy. This is the name of the policy. Then I will explain about permissive and restrictive. Then this is the command on which we want to add. We'll want to add in select. Then this is the rule that we want to add. We want to add on NN, that is public user. Then this is the place where we can write our SQL. So let's give access to everyone. So here we can use subquery CT, or we can use normal SQL queries, which should result in either rows or something. If it is false, then it will disallow the access. If it is true, then it will allow the access. So we just save the policy. Now let it be saved. It is saved. Now when we refresh, we will see we will be getting all the data. So that is our RLS policy is working fine. So now let me show you the table first. So in the snippets table, we have enabled the RLS. We have one auth policy. Now let's try to filter out some rows on basis of RLS. So we have a category column. Let me just copy it, cell content. So now what we want is, we want only the category, that is data structures, to be allowed to query, else we do not want to allow. So now I go to the policy that I added. I will edit that policy, and in the SQL I will just write, like, the column name is category. So category equal to normal SQL, and save the policy. Now when I try to refresh, now you see there are only 4 results, and in each result the category will be data structures. So now our guard have figured out that we only need to allow the row that have category as data structures to be returned, else nothing will be returned. So this is for select query. Let's try to add something for delete. So let us give it a name to, like, delete snippets. Permissive, then we will select delete. So I'll be selecting public user. It is not advisable, but for the tutorial I will just select NN. And now we want to give our condition. So if we add true, then it will allow anyone to delete. But let's again give it a condition. Let's see our, let me it in another tab, and let's try to see what all data we have in the table so that we can filter on that condition. So now what we can do is let us try to add a condition on id where only this row will be deleted. Like we will just allow a single id to be deleted, rest anything would not be able to delete. So let's just go to policy, let's just add our condition. If id matches this, then it will, these things, okay, so we do not need semicolon. Now we save the policy is saved. Okay, wait, let me show you one more thing. Let me quickly copy this and let me delete this policy first. First, let us try to delete without adding any delete policy. Let us see what will happen. So I will go to VS Code and will change this to delete, and do not need to add anything. So let us try to delete something like this ID. Then we can just apply our filter. Filter is on ID column. So now let's try to hit the API. So it is giving us error, permission denied for table snippets. It is a different error, not the RLS error. This is not coming from RLS. This is coming from Postgres permission of the snippets table. So as we have our tables in our private schema, so it does not allow all the tables to add all the operations. So let's open the SQL editor and let's try to give permission of delete to everyone. So it is simple, like just grant delete on schema name is private, then table name is snippets, then the rule name which is nn. Let's try to hit the query, it successful. Now let's try to refresh. So now we do not get any data, we do not get any error. Let's see that our policy, let's see that our row have been deleted or not. So as we can see, our row is still there, like it is still there, it is not yet deleted, and it also did not throw any error. So basically RLS policy do not tend to throw error on delete. So now let's try to add a new policy and delete snippets. Let us just paste what we have copied. So this was the ID. Let's give it and always remember, do not give double quotes, as double quotes is treated as a column Postgres. So on saving it, now let's try to refresh. Again we do not get any data. uh, so we made a classic mistake. We should have selected delete, but we have selected select, which now we will correct it out. Create a policy for all. Let's select the delete method this time, copy and then save the policy. Now let's refresh and we do not get any error. Let's go to snippets table, and so now as you see, this data is not present in the table. So our delete policy is working fine, which I will show you. Let me just remove this filter. Now I will try to delete this row. So I just paste and we do not get any error. But let me just add filter and confirm it once again. If we apply the filter, this is not deleted because our RLS do not allow it to be deleted. Now let's clear the filter. So our delete policy is working fine. Now let's try to add an insert policy. For adding the insert policy, let me just copy the columns that we have. So let me prepare the insert from this. Let me just copy and try to insert same result or delete. Then for insert we can just use this and delete the filter and just pass on the data. What all data do we need? So let us first give it a title. Let me copy. I'll just update it slightly. description. So this way you can just set the insert query also. I'm showing a way of inserting also. So in code we will just copy paste it. So let me just add test here. Now let's add language. Let's quickly finish it by adding category, and rest all is not required. It will be calculated by itself. So we just clear the console. So now let's see if we are able to insert or not. So as you can see, we got an error which is permission denied. Again, we need to give insert permission to an enroll. I just hit enter and it is successful. Now let's try to insert. We again get an error. So this is now a RLS error. It is not allowing us to insert, which says new row violates row level security policy for table snippets. So now let's try to add a policy for insert. We will select the insert, select the NN role. So for the condition, we will allow only the category of virtual DOM, where category equal to virtual DOM again. And now let's save. So now let's try to refresh. So we do not get any error. So now let's try to see the table. Let's see the table. Now let's refresh. It is getting refreshed. Let's see, do we got it or not. Sort by created at by sorting. So yeah, as you see, there are two records inserted as I have refreshed it multiple times. So there are two records created. So that means our RLS is working fine, which we can just confirm it if we just change the category. Now let's see what we got. We got an error that our security guard is not allowing us to insert, which aligned with our policy that we added. So now we have seen all these policies. In the similar way, you can add the update policy. In update policy, it is a combination of select and insert, where it first try to select and then it try to update that record. So for that, you need to like, if you see the insert policy, you will see a with check, and if you will see a select policy, you will see using. So in update, you need to give both standard of RLS. So we have seen deleting, inserting, and selecting. So in this way, we can just add anything in our application, like for authenticated user, for multi-tenancy setup, for everything that we can restrict a particular tenant to only access his records and do not access anyone else record. This is super powerful. Like, you do not need to add any conditions in your code or add any checks in your code. Your database itself handle should be accepted or should be rejected. So this way, the security lies in database itself and not in your coding logic. So this was it. I hope you get a few idea about RLS. So if you have any doubt, you can just share it in the comment section. I would be more than happy to help. So if you like the video, just give it a like, and I'm very close to 100 subscribers. Also subscribe to my channel.